Hello and welcome to Cargo Masterminds presented by cargo.one. Cargo.one is the leading e-booking platform for air cargo. Over the last years, cargo.one has been rapidly transforming the industry by introducing new ways of distributing and booking real-time air freight capacity. With access to real-time prices and available capacities, freight forwarders of all sizes can search, compare, and book from multiple airlines with immediate confirmation. On the other side of the marketplace, airlines get access to an efficient, data-driven, and fully digital distribution channel, enabling them to sell air cargo capacity in a smarter way. If you would like to learn more about the platform, you can visit cargo.one/cargo masterminds. My name is Reggie John, and you are watching Cargo Masterminds presented by cargo.one. This is our weekly episode where we bring leaders from global logistic companies for a one-to-one conversation. Pre-COVID, cargo revenues represented just about 12 to 14% of an airline's total revenue, and cargo was rarely a priority for many airlines. But the pandemic changed things dramatically in favor of cargo as passenger traffic dropped like never before, and the last 20 months have seen cargo revenues surging to reach 30%, and in the case of some airlines, the cargo revenue contribution is as high as 50 to 60%. The pandemic has also pushed the envelope for airlines and air cargo industry in general to have a very strong digital strategy to create multiple digital channels to make capacity available, easily to be sold and bought. The passenger side of aviation have long had their own e-commerce channels, but in the last few years, we have seen the emergence of very strong digital marketplaces like cargo.one that allow buyers and sellers of air freight capacity to seamlessly and dynamically connect. What is next? Digital platforms like cargo.one are working closely with its customers to offer business intelligence and actionable insights for them to optimize their capacity better across all seasons and manage revenues even more efficiently. My guest today is Simson Demmer, Senior Director, Airline Products at cargo.one. Simson joins me to discuss cargo.one 360, a new product that cargo.one launched today. cargo.one 360 is a data and analytics product that provides airlines with unique, fully compliant insights on performance, market trends, and customer behavior in digital sales channels. Simson joined cargo.one in May this year. With over 10 years experience in aviation, extensive knowledge of airlines, as well as their technology and data infrastructures, Simson leads cargo.one's airline product development. Before joining cargo.one, Simson was the head of analytics and business development, network management at Lufthansa Group. Simson previously led the world's second largest all-cargo airline group through its digital transformation process. In his role as Chief Strategy Officer at Cargo Logic Management, he pioneered digital bookings with cargo.one in July 2019 for Airbridge Cargo and Cargo Logic Air. Therefore, I have no doubt that we have the best person to discuss what cargo.one 360 is all about and how it will accelerate the digital transformation journey of cargo.one and its airline partners. Simson, welcome to Cargo Masterminds.
Thank you, Reggie. Very nice to be here.
Simson, before we get into more details of cargo.one 360, tell us briefly what this new product solution is all about.
In short, it's an easy-to-use business intelligence solution that provides airline partners with access to the unique real-time data generated through digital sales platforms and channels today. From interesting insights on demand and sales performance to benchmarking and unique customer data that is hard to gather today to make this actionable on a daily basis and improve revenue and sales performance.
Tell us the context for cargo.one to consider launching a product like this. Was this an outcome of a demand from your customers, or was this part of the bigger vision of cargo.one to be the reliable partner of choice for your customers in their digital transformation journey?
Of course, Reggie, we are not just a technology provider, but a partner in the digitalization journey of cargo. And digital sales is a key part of this digitalization journey. And what we learned through many integrations with our partner airlines is that the first step is to be able to sell digitally, but to make that a success, new metrics and new data is helpful and required. Sometimes we don't know those metrics yet. Sometimes we have to learn how to adapt them to our business processes because they may not be one-to-one the same as we see in our offline sales world. And so it's very much been the convergence of customers going through that digital journey, knowing that there are questions they need to ask for which we haven't got a great answer today, and our vision, which we see also reflected in other industries' digital journey, that there is real value in data and real insights can be gained to help make better and faster decisions. And that is really the reason why we built cargo.one 360, to put these tools at the fingertips of airlines' decision makers, from revenue management to sales to pricing.
Simson, take us through the journey of creating cargo.one 360. You've been with this company for the last 6 months, less than 6 months, and to its launch today.
Well, we are a customer and product-focused organization, which means we talk to our customers on a daily and weekly basis. And so I've had the great luxury of continuing to work with partner airlines such as Lufthansa, such as ANA, TAP, and Finnair to understand how they think about their digital sales channel management. And we together created and worked on metrics that are new, like show rate. Do you actually provide an offer for every search that is made in a digital channel? Because offline sales, we learned, can sometimes be forgiving. You have 10 minutes, you have 15 minutes to create a quote or check back. Whereas in a digital channel, often we measure seconds or milliseconds to put it out in front of the customer. And so we really took these conversations together through continued feedback loops and iterations to go from a prototype where we try it very quickly to a product where we feel that real value is added to our airline partners, and where ultimately we see actions being taken that improve the outcome. And so this journey has been a fantastic one. It has been one of learning, certainly on my part, and great to work with our airline partners so closely. And so today, after 6 months at cargo.one and many more months of product development, we're very excited to be able to release cargo.one 360 officially.
Tell us, what was the most important set of demands from your customers as you were actually getting this product being built from scratch?
That is a super intriguing question because it doesn't have a single answer. As I said, we speak to a very broad set of customers, both in terms of airline partners and the teams within those airlines, from revenue management to sales, to pricing, to channel management, and sometimes operations. And so what we know is that a lot of the feedback differs very much from where people are and partners are on the digitalization journey. Some of them have just started. Some of them have invested for 3, 4, 5 years into this process and to have a different set of questions. We want to be a partner at every step of this journey, and that reflects the solution we built with cargo.one 360. To have something that is ready from day one with a simple dashboard, easy to use with no upfront investment, to help a sales manager better steer the digital channel, for example, but also to enable a real-time data feed that can be integrated into a core cargo or revenue management system at an airline. But without fail, every airline ultimately comes back to the view that we need to have a better understanding of what the benchmark is. What does good look like for some of these metrics? And how do we compare to them? And especially where these are maybe new metrics, that's a learning that we're building together. And so it's highlighted to me that there is a paucity of data, especially in air cargo, and certainly with a view to digital sales channels. And so we're extremely happy that with cargo.one 360, we can help provide reference points and fill that gap.
No, when you create products like this, you are creating it not for the needs of now and today and here, but for the future. How agile is cargo.one 360 to address the challenges of your customers in the medium to long-term scenarios? I'm not really looking at how will it address maybe 10 years from now. I'm saying that typically from a medium to long-term scenarios?
I think for us, it's about connecting real value add today to a clear vision of where we want to go tomorrow. And as a technology company of the 21st century, working in an agile fashion and iterating very, very quickly is part of our DNA. And so, of course, we're first focused on creating value today, so it's actionable and airlines can begin to learn together with us through this process. But together we build a vision as part of these conversations about what we think the next question is, about what we think interesting product development areas might be for which we need to collect new data, or where some of these insights would be helpful to shape their development. And so once we know roughly, and this isn't a 10-year goal, it's a 2 or 3 year goal where we go together, we focus on running very fast together with our partners to make the next step and iterate, because then it means when we make a mistake, and this happens sometimes, we can quickly take one step back and go in another direction, but we haven't invested a lot of time and energy into a problem or a solution that ultimately didn't work. And so we see, I think, from other industries, what the path could look like in digitalization, in the value of data, and the improvement it brings to our processes. And that's, I think, very reassuring, because it means we're on the right track.
Tell us about how cargo.one 360 will add to what has already been offered to your customers in terms of reducing cost and improving efficiencies. Ultimately, reducing cost and efficiencies, improving efficiencies are the two goals of any of these digital channels.
I think cargo.one 360 targets a slightly different step of this journey. Of course, the first step, I think, is enabling digital sale. And it's a very big step to be able to sell on your website, to be able to sell through a platform like cargo.one. And that increases efficiency, it saves costs, but maybe most important, it increases customer reach, because you are where the customer is. But cargo.one 360 is about the steps that follow afterwards. It's once you have searches, once you have bookings, to understand how we sell online, to help our airline partners, to help the teams within airlines ask the question, is my digital sales strategy working? How can I improve it? And then once you take an action, make a change, to see the result in real time in the data and be able, much like we talked about in the product development, to iterate very, very quickly. And that's where we see cargo.one 360 coming in as the provider of transparency for our partners, to close this loop between desired strategy, action, and measurement of result in order to continuously improve on a daily basis revenue, capacity utilization, ultimately customer experience.
What will be some of the additional forward-looking features that will be part of cargo.one 360 that will allow your customers to manage their capacity even more optimally?
I think at the highest level, we start with continuously improving the day-to-day analytics and measurement of performance. And as we get better in this and connecting data to how we manage performance, we worry less about what the number is and more about finding the signals for action. So we only look at what requires action rather than the noise surrounding it. But the biggest forward-looking steps that I think we will take is a better understanding of customer insights, customer choices, and customer behavior, because that will feed in how airlines design products for digital sales and maybe even for offline sales differently in future than we do today. It's a further articulation of benchmarking. How does that evolve? Maybe what good is today isn't going to be good tomorrow. And so we consistently need to manage how performance and airlines' perception of this works. And I think we'll have many, many more lessons around real-time data and data feeds and how they might connect to systems that we're just building today, where vendors and partners are learning where those data can in fact be useful and maybe where they are not. And so I think those learnings is where we see the future and where we continue to invest with our partners to make sure we never stop learning together.
Let's now talk about data, because data becomes the foundation on which digital transformation is built. In the world of air cargo today, there is so much data collected, but unfortunately, the quality of data is so bad you struggle to translate that data into dynamic market intelligence. However, we see the difference with the launch of cargo.one 360. Tell us the criticality of data capture, the quality of data captured, and the intelligence you make out of them to provide actionable insights to your customers.
You're completely right. I think we are not a data poor industry, but we're also not as data rich as maybe the digitally native industries that we see elsewhere. Today, we still largely rely on the movement message rather than real-time GPS tracking. And I think the truth still often lies on a paper airway bill. But if we zero in on maybe just a commercial element, we do a lot of interactions when we sell. We're on the phone, we meet in person, we write an email. But a lot of the data and the information that we generate as part of this, we then lose because we hang up the phone. And we build then steps in the organization to manage performance around everything we've learned in these interactions. But what it means often is that we build this on the basis of instinct, on the basis of gut feel, or even anecdotes. And so where a platform like ours, but also digital channels that airlines might use like their own website, change this is because we track and collect data consistently across the whole journey. What people are searching for, what people are booking, what people are ultimately finding creates value for them. And so with the digitalization of this process, we can then measure the outcomes. We can actually quantify how price sensitive certain behaviors are to feed better revenue management decisions, or to adjust automatically on the basis of changes in search volume. And so it's this shift away from I feel, I think, I've heard, to I can measure, I can react, and ultimately I can take better decisions as a result of that. I don't think it's completely black and white. We'll continue to have to interpret what those results are and to make learnings. But I see this as a key next step for us as an industry, and the one that we want to enable with cargo.one 360.
Now let's come to data sharing. We have seen a good example in IATA's One Record, which creates a virtual shipment record for all shipments that will enable data to be shared by all stakeholders across the air cargo logistic value chain. There are several pilots of this with carriers. Tell us, how does cargo.one approach the concept of data sharing and sets robust protocols to ensure security of the data?
I think at the high level, of course, we welcome greater transparency and increased sharing of data in the industry. It relates exactly to the question you asked me before about how can we assure that we actually capture data. And part of this is making certain we have trust, that data is secure, its integrity and access is guaranteed. And for us as a participant and early champion in the digitalization of air freight, we've built everything around this core. Our infrastructure was built on open standards, secure communications protocols from the ground up. And so forwarders trust us with their data, airlines trust us with their offers, and they trust us to make bookings. And so we take this responsibility to safeguard that data extremely seriously. And from a technology standpoint, that means we've built infrastructure that is robust, secure, and constantly evolving. But from a process standpoint, of course, it means our organization is set up to also mirror and reflect the value we attach to that data. We constantly review this, and in addition to just the data aspect, we of course have to assure to be compliant with all antitrust and regulations that we have in air freight, in particular, when we aggregate data and information for broader consumption.
When I look at the air cargo industry, I find there are three key challenges for the air cargo industry stakeholders today. And the challenges are they are inaccurate or just bad data, therefore digitalization. And the second challenge is underutilized capacity, therefore the need for optimization. And the third challenge is there are inefficiencies in cargo handling, therefore we need or the need for automation. What are your thoughts based on your experience working with an airline and now as a solution provider to airlines?
Well, I think the 3 points you say connect to each other. Sometimes the lack of a digitalized process then leads to a lack of data, which leads us to take decisions to build in buffers and security around how full flights are, how much time we need, which ultimately generates waste and inefficiency. And so I think the first element for us as an industry is to continue to drive this objective of better access and clearer availability to data, because that will become actionable and it will allow teams almost at every step of the delivery of the air freight value chain to make choices where there are fewer buffers and reduce some of the inefficiency. I think from a utilization perspective, of course, it's not a problem today. We are lucky, even in the face of the pandemic, that air freight is doing well and planes are full. But it's actually the investment into the future, into the next 3 to 5 years, where maybe the capacity and demand balance shifts back, that we see carriers investing in, and where we see a lot of these benefits ultimately coming to fruition, where we can plan to tighter tolerances, where we can assure delivery, and where we might then have backup solutions to make sure that our assets, our airplanes, are used most effectively. And I think these huge steps in COVID and even before COVID are very encouraging to see, and where we can help, we're here to do that.
Simson, in your opinion, do you already see the emergence of new global standards in digitalization? Thus, products built on actionable data insight, open APIs, logistic ecosystems, and customer collaboration will thrive? And is it fair to consider cargo.one 360 as one such example, and it intends to set benchmark for the air freight industry?
In short, I think yes, we see these standards evolving, and One Record and IATA MCD are great examples of this. But we recognize, of course, that the evolution of standards is the result of there already being an ecosystem. There are participants, airlines, technology companies, ourselves, who have built prototypes and production systems that already create hundreds of thousands of bookings every year. And so what the signal of a standard is that we're on the path that's working, that we're creating value for the industry. And what it means is that many carriers, airlines, forwarders have already invested. They've taken learnings, they've built infrastructure, they've created skills within their teams that puts them 1 or 2 steps further on that learning curve. And so what I would say is the evolution of standards is a fantastic development, but it's not a, well, let's wait for the standard action, but actually a call for action. Get involved now. We can already begin to drive the digitalization journey and to participate actively today. And I think that, in fact, having organizations, airlines, partners who push the envelope is the hallmark of a successful ecosystem and will be the hallmark of digital air freight in the industry.
What do you see the future trend of mid and long term of enterprises in the logistics sector interested in buying or partnering with plug-and-play solution startups like cargo.one, less capital intensive, easy to use, cloud-based with robust API integration techniques? Is that the way forward?
I think the answer is yes. More collaboration is a critical aspect to accelerating digitalization, because it means that we understand we don't build everything ourselves and we can rely on expertise from partners, from other industry participants who have built core expertise in some of those areas. And so I think working together with those partners is absolutely enabled by open standards, APIs, and even things like cloud infrastructure, because they take away the huge upfront investments that were required in the past to make these evolutions happen. And I think it comes back to the core point of where we see ourselves as cargo.one. We're not just a provider, and I think many others aren't just providers, but partners with airlines, with forwarders to shape the journey of digitalization, because we can benefit by working with more advanced, more digital, and more forward-thinking organizations all around.
Simson, it was such a pleasure talking to you. All the best to you and your team for developing such an interesting product for your customers. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Reggie.
That was Simson Demmer, Senior Director, Airline Products at cargo.one. I hope you enjoyed watching this interview. If you like what we do, please do share it among your networks. Also, if you're not a subscriber of our YouTube channel, please do subscribe now and click the bell icon so that you do not miss any of our new videos. Join me next Monday as I bring a new guest for a one-to-one conversation here in Cargo Masterminds presented by cargo.one. Until next Monday, take good care of yourself and have a great week ahead. Thank you.